Hello and happy Friday. I'm Wendy from Big Girl Interrupted. I am a life coach that specializes in trauma-informed coaching. I'm a mom, I'm a grandmother, I'm a wife, and I am most importantly a woman. Uh, I am a co-founder of Big Girl Interrupted, and I will allow my very beautiful co-founder introduce herself.
Thanks, Wendy. Hi, I'm Hazel, and I am one of the co-founders of Big Girl Interrupted. I am an internal transformation and business coach. I help you get unstuck, show up consistently on your social media platforms, and so that you can start making some cash.
And I'm just going to brag. She's really good at what she does. Make sure you go see her. If you're starting a new business, she's definitely the person you want to chat with. Today, we're really excited to have Amanda Russell. She is a dynamic, energetic, I'm trying to think of the words I want to use for you because there's just so many of them. She is just a wonderful person overall. And I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell you exactly what it is that she does.
Thank you so much, Wendy. I totally appreciate you guys. You ladies are phenomenal at what you do, all the support you put out there and supporting myself and Jelly Social, my other stuff, LegalShield. So I appreciate all that you guys do and all the work you're doing for the community. So, and Hazel, amazing. Yeah, for all the social media stuff, I rate you on levels because that's like another job in itself.
Right?
But, oh gosh, I know. Now that getting into it, I'm like, oh my God, it's so time consuming. But you guys are so consistent, and I love seeing like all the work that you're putting out there and your amazing content and videos. It's very inspirational. You motivate me to get active and get going. So thank you for that. And yeah, so for those that don't know me, my name is Amanda Russell. I represent a couple things. I wear a lot of hats similar to Wendy. So same, like I'm a mom of a 4-year-old. I like to say that I'm a connector. I'm a change agent. I'm a legal advocate. I am a LegalShield associate. I've been so for the past, oh gosh, I can't believe it's 11 years already. Co-founder of Jelly Social. So I've been on Jelly Social. I think it's coming around to almost 6 years now. So time has been flying. It's just amazing how fast the past couple of years have gone by. And it's just been an incredible journey. This whole entrepreneurial movement, right? It's like riding that roller coaster. You have the highs and lows, but it's been fun, the entire process. So really looking forward to seeing, creating more platforms and supporting everybody in what we're doing out here. So that's been great.
So my first question is Jelly Social. Let's talk about that for a minute. Where did Jelly Social come from? What was the, where did it, whose brilliant brain did that come from? And what is
so funny. Yeah, so Jelly Social, oh my gosh, we founded it about 6 years ago. So myself and Sanjit Kamba, we met at like a networking event and we're like, hey, you know what, there has to be a better way to help support, like we're both in Mississauga. So we're like, how can we support our community in Mississauga? So we said, hey, he had a beautiful building in the Mississauga here, Ontario area. For those that were there, beautiful glass panels. So we're like, this is a great space. Let's start Jelly Social. And we always get the question, why Jelly Social? Like, how the heck did you guys come up with this name? So we're like, with Jelly Social, we thought, people coming together and gelling together. So, all of us being in a room, connecting, inspiring, creating, and that's where we're all like gelling together. So it's just a fun play on words. That's how Jelly Social came to be. So throughout the years, really working on connecting community. We are a nonprofit, so we just want to help support entrepreneurs in a different way in terms of, yes, we're all trying to get out there and showcase our products and services, but at the same time, we're like, let's come in a room together. Instead of like pushing sales or trying to push product, let's see how we can collaborate together. So let's share like various resources, tips, tricks, our learnings from being an entrepreneur. It's nice to have a community we all know the challenges and, you know, what we're going through, so we can have similar conversations and support. We're all different stages and levels of our business. So some folks can offer more advice. Some folks I would be like, hey, I'm getting started. What do I do? Then we can say, hey, you know, out of every one person, we know at least 100 people, let's say. So somebody in this room can support you. So really, I guess, you know, lowering your wall, for example, and then saying, let me just be a little bit vulnerable to be able to ask for help and put my ask there and see who can connect and who can help me. So I think that has been an amazing experience, like through developing Jelly Social. And then as of recently, this year, because of the pandemic and everything going on, we really miss being in a room. So we thought, let's go live, right? We're going to join the Zoom lands, this community of online people, just to keep connected. Because, you know, we miss seeing you lovely ladies in the room and the energy. So we're like, hey, how can we continue that? So we, you know, jumped online, and now this year we decided to focus more on the BIPOC community. So for some folks, they love it. Some folks hate the term, but BIPOC basically is like Black, Indigenous, people of color, and just underserved communities, to just show that how can we better represent and support these experts that could really use the support during these like turbulent times, right? So really helping to showcase, and of course we love our allies. So we're like not excluding anybody. Everybody's like a one, but we're really trying to say, how can we better showcase, you know, these folks? And through Jelly Social, we're now doing like themed events. So people can come out, and we have our experts. We have like 3 experts, let's say, for each theme matter, talk about it. Then we created a Jelly Social like Yelp. So now our business owners can come onto Jelly Social at jellysocial.ca, create a free business listing, and then you can identify with, you know, what group. And then so if you're looking to support a Black owned business, now you can do a search specifically for that, right? So we just want to help and create better platforms to support our underserved communities, really, and showcase their talents. So not to exclude anybody, everybody is welcome, but that way we can just kind of highlight these folks a little bit more. So it's been amazing. We've got amazing feedback. We've actually got a couple of grants that helped us with this transition. I know it's exciting that we actually have a team. So it's been Sanjeet and I for like 6 years. And we recently got like some team through Humber. So we got some interns that joined our team, and it's been great. Like they helped us build those social media channels. Like honestly, Hazel, like the time it takes to build like the platforms of getting on LinkedIn, creating blogs, like, you know, putting that content out and being consistent. It's nice to have a team of people now that we can work together to get that done. So it's been a great journey, I'd say, so far.
I love that. And thank you for putting that platform out there. I just want to say that. I mean, we've been to your events and they're fantabulous. We love your events.
No, thank you.
And that you established a nonprofit status, I think, is really impressive, to be honest. I think, you know, I think you're the only networking group that we know of that's non-for-profit. Hazel, do you agree with that or no?
Right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So well done.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Do you want to touch on LegalShield a little bit?
Oh, yeah. So I would say it's interesting because people are like, how did you get into this journey? So that's how it all started, was LegalShield. So LegalShield, you know, I did the corporate gig for majority of my life. You did the whole, you know, the Rich Dad Poor Dad, for those that read it. Went to school, got a good job, went into the corporate world, did that gig. And I mean, it wasn't the most exciting thing. I went to school for business administration, so general, right? You can fall into anything. So I went in, I was like sales and service. And then someone invited me to take a look at LegalShield. I went to one of their presentations. I was like, no way. I just love the concept. I always wanted to take law, but when I saw those books and how thick they were and how heavy that course was, I was like, yeah, I don't know if that's for me, man. So when I heard LegalShield, I'm like, okay, so people can get access to their rights. So you literally have, it's like a legal insurance. So you can pick up the phone, talk to a lawyer on any matter, and let's say not receive a bill in terms of finding out what your options are. So this is where I was like, this is incredible. How come people don't know about this? And then when I went to the presentation and I heard people helping so many people, especially with what we're going through now, it's just like, what are your rights? If you don't know them, you technically don't have any, right? So this is where it's just helping to empower empower more families, individuals, especially small businesses. As you know, you're starting off, let's say, even due to the pandemic, you don't know what your rights are now. Let's say you're renting a place and you're just trying to figure out, okay, what do I do? Do I have to pay this? Can I afford this? How does this work? So now you can have a lawyer guide you, at least give you some options as to what you can do. Sometimes, sometimes it's favorable, sometimes it's not, but at least you know kind of where you stand on things and how you want to navigate with that going forward. And being from the corporate world, I'm like, well, how the heck, now that I'm a LegalShield associate, how the heck do I meet people? Because, this is a whole other world. And as a starting entrepreneur, as sure most entrepreneurs know, family and friends tend to not be the most supportive right off the bat.
Right?
It's crazy. You would think that, hey, I'm starting a new business, that they'd all be like applauding, but they're like, are you crazy? Like, you're quitting your job and doing this? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're getting paid like steady income over here. Are you going to go to like, you don't know where the money's coming from over here? So, right? So that was an interesting journey. So then I'm like, okay, there has to be a way. So I started looking at networking events, and I attended, like, I swear, and when I first started off, like, gosh, 11 years ago, I went to like every networking event that was out there just to understand the model. Because I had an event background. So my brother's a DJ. I used to throw parties. So I'm like, okay, we can throw parties for people. We can put professionals into a room and then help them connect. So once I understood the model, I'm like, okay, let's start our own. And I started another group called We Can Network. So that way we had like 20 to 30 people in a room. And then we would, again, share exactly what we're doing, like who you are, what you do, have a guest speaker. And that just transformed where now with the Weekend Network and Jelly Social, we have like about over 5,000 people collectively in our network. So that's how I actually was able to connect with people, to show LegalShield and share with them, like, this is what we do. This is how we can help. We can put that will in place. You get those letters and phone calls like made, especially with all the layoffs happening right now. I just helped a lady, right? She's just like, I paid $300 for a lawyer. And then my mother-in-law is like, no, man, talk to Amanda. So with our membership, she was able to talk to a lawyer, get that contract reviewed. They sent out a letter on her behalf, and then she got a better compensation package compared to what they wanted. Whereas the other lawyer that she was going to hire was going to charge her another $300 for that letter. So again, saving her at least a little bit more money, right, in her pocket versus the lawyers. So we can help you save a little bit. We want to at least put in yours versus the lawyers. So, because we know $300-400 out there, we're simply priced out of the legal system. So this is where, our whole mission is really to help empower people and help them get affordable access to their rights and to the legal system across Canada and the US. So I really aligned with that mission, and my whole concept of, like, my whole passion of just helping people. I think that just, aligned with me. And then with Jelly Social, it all came together. So now I'm like helping people. Yeah, no, thank you. And then once you know me, you'll learn about LegalShield. I'm like, so whoever you can help, right? So, if you come through something, you're like, oh yeah, Amanda, she does this legal thing, right? And that's what people term it. They're like, what's this legal thing? I'm like, cool, I'm still going, and I can get them connected. And then, hopefully they can help, and at least they'll have access and going forward for those life events. So I say it's like the CAA, it's like CAA, right? So your car breakdown, right? Your tire flat, then you can call CAA. So if life happens, an event happens, you have this legal insurance now, a legal membership that you can pay, month to month, yes. But I'd say overall it saves you money than having to hire somebody at the end and trying to figure out who should I contact. At least we've already vetted them and we know these are legit lawyers to work with. So that's been an amazing journey, like from the corporate world to entrepreneurship.
Amazing.
And I can attest because I use LegalShield as a result of Amanda. So
thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yes. You ladies are awesome. I appreciate your support as well.
So our show is all about, so that's your introduction. That's who you are. That's kind of what you do for a business. So now we're going to get a little personal.
Oh, sure. Go.
So our podcast is all, as you know, it's called What's Interrupting Your Life. So that's where I'm going to start my questioning off with is what was or is interrupting your life?
And that's a great question. So when I pondered that, I'm like, you know what? The biggest transition I would say was having my daughter. So that was a curveball 5 years ago I didn't expect. So, you're in the entrepreneur journey. You're like, okay, I just quit my job. I'm building my business. I just launched my event company. And then I found out I was pregnant. So I was like, oh, how's this going to work out now? So, I mean, I was excited, right? I mean, she's a blessing. It's a blessing at the moment, but it was a huge curveball. Like, we just bought a new house, so we're trying to figure things out. Like, I was moving my mom into our house because she had dementia and I was taking care of her. So that's why we had to make
Right.
that transition. So then when I found out I was pregnant, I'm like, okay, how do we do this? And because I quit my job, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't get EI, right? So I'm like, how does that work? So I learned the hard way. And maybe that's a tip for entrepreneurs. Like, if you can, pay into an EI program, because if you're doing the family planning and you're wanting kids, either that or making sure that you have steady income flowing in. So luckily with LegalShield, like, I built a team that helps support my motherhood journey. So and it did it took a moment. Like, after she was born, like, I still tried to operate a business, right? But you can't, I couldn't network. Like, I'd bring her to like my networking meetings, and like I was a baby. And then she like in the carriage there, and then the stroller's hanging out in the back while I'm doing a presentation from the front of the room. So, we try to make it work. It was an interesting experience, but I'm like, that I just had to do it, right? Because if I wasn't meeting with people and sharing my services and connecting, then I'm like, I didn't really know about the Zoom life at that point, right? I'm like, if I had known
Right.
about Zoom, I would have had more Zoom meetings and saved that back and forth showing up at the coffee shop, even though I missed that. But I think that was huge. It took me about 3 years to finally figure out my rhythm with this kid thing, and saying, okay, and then I'm still working and supporting my LegalShield team, and plus the networking. I had to get people from my network to step up and actually host the events for me. So for me to even let go of being a host of the events was like huge. I was like, I don't want to stop the meetings because I'm not able to be there right now. So I'm so thankful and grateful for our community, because we had members step up and say, okay, Amanda, I'll host your Mississauga one. I'll host your Brampton one. Like, I had meetings in Mississauga, Brampton, Burlington, Oakville. We were just expanding in Toronto. So
Wow.
yeah, so it was amazing that I had that community support, just through the networking I had done the past couple years prior. So that was a big learning curve for me. And even still, now I'm like getting my groove back. It took 5 years, right? So now I'm like knowing how to work my schedule. She's in school now, so I can better support her and us. But now I'm back in a good groove again.
But now we're in COVID, so now schooling is at home,
Oh
right?
my gosh, yeah, that's like another,
How-
that's probably another
That's a whole
interrupter.
other interruption. Yeah.
Oh, totally.
So,
Like, she'll be like in my meetings, she'll be like in the back here playing, or like downstairs. My husband's working from home too, so we have like three computers going, and I'm like, I need to focus. I need I need a moment of no noise, right? Just to get into the zone. But as soon as
right.
you start working on something, then she's like, Mom, I need to color something, or I need a paper, or you need something. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So the constant break of concentration has been a challenge.
Mm.
So I work
So
the best at night.
oh, you work at night a lot. Is that what you're saying? Like when she
Yes,
goes
yeah.
to bed? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it sounds like to me that you had to really kind of perfect your delegation skills.
Yes, and I realize that it really is a huge skill to develop, because when it's yours, right? When you've built something, you don't want to let it go. So even to delegate, even to get like a administrative assistant, I was so resistant to, because I'm like, okay, but if I have to let go of these duties, then I'm letting somebody else take control. But I realize now the importance of creating systems and automation and being able to outsource like stuff like
Mm.
that, especially on the administration level, is huge. That I'm able to delegate and being okay with letting go of certain things that, yes, we built it, but now I can help, work with the other individual to help support it. I think
Right.
that has
Right.
been my biggest growth, or I'm still going through it, but just learning how to be a better delegator of things.
Right.
Mm.
Um, what was that a big challenge? What were some of your biggest challenges in deciding that it was time to let go of some of those things? And I mean, really and truly, it is like your kid, right? It's like having your kid, but we all know at the end of the day, as a good mom, your job is to let your kid and then they go fly. So really your business is the same thing.
No, but that's a fantastic way to look at it, actually. It's true, because you're like growing and developing this like baby, right? Because our business is our baby. So we're growing this, and as we're seeing it grow, then we know we have to let it learn how to get to independent and gain its wings and grow, right? So I think that in that challenge, it would just being able to trust and like work with other people and know that, you know what, as long as they were aligned, I think, in the mission and the vision. Once we have alignment in the mission and the vision, then I felt comfortable with being like, okay, like especially with the Jelly team, I have to say, like this is my first experience in actually having a team take over certain aspects, like our social media. We just hired a social media manager, so you'll start seeing new content. But just seeing that's like, okay, here are all the concepts and all the work and all the content we've created throughout the years. And now she's able to take that and like put that into like the posts and scheduling, and it's amazing to see the work that our interns even have done from, like, we do interviews like this as well, and like they pull that content out and creating blogs and like other shares, like now they're growing our LinkedIn. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much better, because now we can grow on these platforms rather than we're trying to kind of like keep up, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So focus on other things.
Yes, yeah. So that's where Sanjeet's like, hey, I could focus now on like the sponsorships and working on strategic engagement that way. And I could focus on building out our events and connecting with our experts. And then we funnel it in and then have our systems now that we're creating to allow them to run and let, you know, our team work with that. And we just plug it in and it's seamless now for them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to delve even a little bit more personal. So on a woman level,
yes,
you know, juggling family and all these multitude of businesses, are you finding interruptions in that?
Oh my gosh, there's also so many interruptions. Yeah. Like it doesn't stop, man. I swear the women's job is never ends. And somebody termed it so good. They're just like, as a mom, it's like the most underrated, underpaid job that there exists. You know what I mean?
Amen to that.
Right? Yeah, like the level in which we need to maintain house and child and finances, and then you throw a job and the business on top of that, it's heavy. So
and then if you have a partner, right, you have to have some kind of
you have to
place
maintain
for them as well.
Yeah, because they're like our child too, right? So you're like, so, and then they have their needs in terms of like, you still have to maintain the relationship and not lose sight of why we came together and like the purpose of, okay, yes, we've created this house and these businesses and like this child and these opportunities, but we have to still work together. So it's funny, I'm reading a book or listening to a book called The 5 Love Languages, and it's really good, like learning how to like fill your love tank and find out what is your love language, right? Because so that's for my husband that got me on the book. He's like, you need to read this. Start tapping it. Because I get so caught up with everything, right? So I'm like, okay, but it's good because like at least I know what my love language is, what his love language is.
Even your daughter's love language.
Yes, so important, right? And then we know how to fill our love tank. So I know when she's acting out or even he's acting out or me, like I know we're depleted somewhere and something has to shift, right? We have to start bringing back focus in these areas. So, you know, I think that's a constant, I don't know if there's such thing as balance, but it's a constant thing where you're just leveling and seeing, okay, where to shift your attention day to day and create some kind of schedule or routine that keeps you plugged into one another, and then you're still growing all elements, really.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's a really important aspect you bring to it. It's creating a balance and a routine, but also being mindful of flexibility in your routine and balance, right?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Especially
you can
in
have
COVID.
all the routine you want in the world,
Yeah.
But when things go wrong, you got to be ready to pivot, right? Just like what COVID has done to us.
Oh my gosh.
It's taught us all that.
Oh, 100%. And I think that is key. Well, exactly what you said, flexibility. I'm like, it's nice to have, a certain schedule of sorts in place, but knowing that you're flexible enough to tweak where needed and do what you have. Stuff comes up every day, and then you're like, oh, shoot, I didn't get to make those follow-up calls because something else came up, right? So I'm like, okay, let me shift and then see, okay, focus on what's needed right now, and then carve out time on a later day in the week to get that done. So it's needed for survival, because if you're too stringent, right, in your plan, like you'll drive yourself crazy, because then you'll totally weigh yourself down and be like, and we're too hard on ourselves, I think. So it's just like, be softer with each other and just be like, hey, we got to celebrate those small wins. Like, we got through today. That's a huge win sometimes, right?
Yes, I agree. That's a really big thing. And we don't give ourselves that much. We don't pat ourselves on the back enough for that kind of stuff. Like, I just got through today. Today was a crap day, or it was a super busy day, and I got through it. We are really the heroes of our own stories.
Oh,
and we got to celebrate that, and give ourselves permission to celebrate it.
Yeah,
so where are you in the process of everything now that you've got going on, Amanda?
So right now, because I'm like, okay, oh my God, we're in May, like we're in the second quarter of the year. So now it's just trying to be more strategic with my next moves and plans. So one, in terms of Jelly Social, just making sure, like working with Sanjeet and her team to have the right systems in place to support our growth and to better support the community and the events that we have in play. So that way we're not feeling like you're always catching up. So just trying to get a month ahead of ourselves. So really trying to plan out the rest of this year in terms of Jelly social events, the speakers, doing all that stuff, lining it up and then plugging it in and then letting it just run, right? So just there. And then two would be with LegalShield. Really realizing that, on the team level, I need to support my team and the growth, because the only way we can help more people with the services is having more like LegalShield associates active on the field, sharing the service. Only so much that I know that I can do personally. Like, even though it's nice to say I have 5,000 people in my network, to physically connect with those people is so hard. Like, it's so time consuming. So I'm like,
I can imagine.
So I'm like, okay, how can I better support my team and really become like a better leader to help them, right? Like the whole teach a man to fish concept. So I don't want to be the one to do it for you. I want to be able to show you what is your why. Like, going back to the vision board, that what you ladies do, I think is fabulous. Like, everybody needs that. And we really tapping into what is your vision? Why did you join LegalShield, right? What is your money goal for the end of this year? Then helping my team achieve that goal. And in turn, we're helping as many people as we can as well with getting access to our services. So this is where I find it's like a win-win and a mission based for LegalShield and Jelly. So we're helping both like elevate.
So with all of that going on, you have 10 million things going on. And just like so many women, all of us are so many things to so many people, right? What do you do to take care of yourself to make sure that you don't go,
crazy?
For lack of a better term. Yes. So make sure you don't lose your mind.
You know what? Honestly, when we could travel, that was my thing. Like, I would be like, hey, we can just get away once a year, even twice a year. I was like, that was like my recharge, right? So right now, let's say on a daily level, I'm trying to get back to like just exercising, meditation, listening to like a personal development, plugging into something positive just to keep me recharged, right? Because there's so much negative news out there. I'm like, it's just crazy when you turn on the TV. So I'm like, let me just plug into positivity, focus on my growth. In turn, I can help others. Because until I can help myself, I can't help other people, right? So and then finding little retreats. So now I'm like, how can I explore Ontario? So like we're like, hey, if we can go up like north or see if we can get a cottage or go to Niagara
Mhm.
Falls for the weekend, like doing little outside retreats where I'm not seeing the four walls of this house constantly. Right?
Right?
Yeah.
It's I think that is my recharge. I like to be able to just do things like that, just to get a change of scenery, really.
That's a really good advice.
Yeah, I think
What are your next moves?
so. My next moves would be one is creating systems for LegalShield, Jelly, and again my goals. So like setting the 3-month goal, making sure that I'm staying aligned to it, checking it off every day, plugging in and making sure on a physical level, mental level, that I'm doing things for me, right? To make sure
Mhm.
I'm achieving those goals on a health factor, mind factor, and then on for family, making sure I'm supporting their needs as well. Especially being home, making sure we spend some time, even if we go for a walk. Guys, I know you guys had a challenge where you
Yeah.
had like a 30 day to go for walks. I downloaded that. And now we're like, okay, let's like every day. It wasn't so rainy and crappy those other days. It's just to go for a walk and really get a 30-minute walk out there. So after the end of the day, like 5, 6 o'clock, we'd go for a walk, kind of recharge that way. I think just being outside and just getting fresh air is huge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but that would be, my next steps, really focusing on my next 3-month goals.
Nice. And where can people find? We're going to actually put your notes in the things, but let's physically tell them where people can find you.
Thank you. You can connect with me on Instagram. So I'm Instagram Amanda Amanda Connects Connets. Check me out on there. Do add me to your LinkedIn under Amanda Russell. Facebook Amanda Russell. Join our Jelly Social community under Jelly Social. We're at Jelly Social on Instagram, Facebook, same thing, Jelly Social. So just plugging into our pages there would be amazing. And if you want to do a coffee date, I love connecting with folks and learning more about their story, their journey, and being able to support in our community. So if we can highlight you, feel free to reach out anytime, and then we can connect and take it from there.
Yay.
And Hazel and I can speak to that. That Jelly Social has been wonderful to us. We love Jelly Social. We love LegalShield, and mostly we love Amanda.
Thank you. I love you, ladies too. You guys are awesome.
I'm going to hand you over to Hazel now because she has some questions for you.
Oh, sure,
Some rapid fire stuff.
Nice.
So we like to wrap up our interviews with just some 3 questions. So are you ready? I'm going to start with the first one.
Okay, we'll see you.
Okay. Yeah, and these questions don't get sent to you.
Okay.
So the first question is, what is one strategy that you would recommend to a woman who is currently experiencing an interruption in her life?
I would say having a conversation, find someone that you can talk to on a level, that you can voice, those internal concerns or stuff kind of going out of your head. Get it out of your head and speak to somebody you trust, that you can just at least release it and then have a conversation about it. Because I think that is the biggest challenge, especially as women. We deal with so much internally and we have so much going on a day-to-day. Sometimes you just need that one other person to be able to connect with. Not that you need their opinion, but you just need to get it out. Right? And just be understood. And then you can start brainstorming solutions, because only then when you speak on it can you find solutions around it, right? And then look to your network, your community, your family, friends for that support. So I think being able to speak openly and honestly about what we're going through, especially with the whole mental health, right? And us being in lockdown, like, people need an outlet to speak to people. We need people. Yeah. So I think that is one that, however we can support, either be that friend, checking in, and being okay with being vulnerable and just sharing our story and how we're feeling.
Yeah.
That was a great answer.
Yeah. Beautiful. Number 2, who's someone that inspires you?
I would say, being Mother's Day weekend, it would have to be my mom and my grandmother. Like, they instilled so many good, morals, values, family. Like they taught me the meaning of family and to be there and show up. And my grandmother was always, I mean, that's where I got it from. Like she was the one that would rally family around. Like we'd have dim sum and all the like uncles, aunts, cousins, like we would be there. And since her passing, that stopped. So, and her work ethic, like our family's from Trinidad, so she ran a shop in Trinidad, and she was like such an important like person in the community. Like she gave back to community on levels. Like when she passed, it was an outpour for her that came out to support. So being like generational now is just being able to, yeah, give back on whatever level that looks like, right?
I can see where you get your connector
Yeah,
community from.
totally.
And number 3, what is a non-negotiable in your life?
I say non-negotiable is nonsense. I'm not like just the bullshit, just to be straight. I'm like, just be transparent, just be real. You know, I don't need the fluff. So the non-negotiable would just be just whatever you need, whatever you want, whatever you're trying to accomplish. Just be real with it. Just be straight up, because then that's the best way that we can work together. There's no fluff involved. You know, I love transparency. I love realness. So it's just for people to just, yeah, just be like here to support one another, just be real with one another. And that's the only way we can truly build solid relationships and trusting relationships. And I think especially during these times, like we need that even more, like knowing that we have people that we can count on, right? So so just like zero, like no nonsense. I don't want drama. That's like nothing. I'm like, no man, we're too focused, we're too caught up in all these other things that I'm like, we don't have time for that.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right?
Thank you so much for joining us today, Amanda. It's always a pleasure to get to chat with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Go and check out Amanda and all the things she does. I remember, Hazel, I don't know if you'll remember this conversation that you and I had when the first day we ever met Amanda, about trying to figure out what a connector was. Do you remember that?
Oh, no.
What's a connector? But you definitely have showed us what a connector is and how powerful that can be. So she's definitely somebody you want in your corner if you are running a business or need legal help. She will go above and beyond. You definitely want to, and she's an inspiring woman who's making it all work and such a wonderful mom. We've met her little girl. She's beautiful. All levels. Well done, Amanda.
Oh, no, thank you, ladies, for all your support, the opportunity to be on your platform. Phenomenal. And we look forward to returning the favor and like having you guys on our Jelly Social and hearing your stories, because all the work that you're doing is amazing. And, you know, being part of your vision board process, I think that's great, what the work that you guys are doing. So we can support you. I look forward to working more and creating more collaborations too.
Us too. Happy Mother's Day.
Yes, happy Mother's Day to you, ladies. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can know when we go live again. Thank you.